And welcome back, Crypto Hulk. Today's September 6th. We just completed the open show, and we're going into the members only. The open show is about a Russian study that was done. They looked over what the Americans and Europeans were doing as far as blockchain. This show is a separate one. We're looking at CBDCs. I started the show on the last member. I think I finished 4 pages. I'm not sure. Because on my notes here, on the front of both of them, it says done and then done. So I guess I finished front and back of both pages. I can't quite remember. But I'm going to start with page 5. And I might be able to finish 5, 6, 7, and 8 today. Maybe even 9. I'm not sure. So what we got going here is, this is from, let me post it again. Let me see if I can, wait, no, I don't have the website for that. Screw it. Go back and look on the last members only show. Then you can find the name of the article I'm looking at and stuff. You can download it and everything, but I'm not going to go doing that right now. I'm going to get on with this show. We've got a lot of work to go over, but I want to show you how the CBDC is going down. Okay, that's what we're focusing on today. It's kind of like a little community college course. You're going to see the future. The reason I'm going over this is so you see the future in what goes on. Okay. All right. We're on page 11. It's called the CB. Where's the title of this? Maybe I can. Okay. If you want to look it up, it's the Central Bank Digital Currency Policy Maker Toolkit. And that's all I'm going to get into on that. On page 11, it talks about the Bank of Thailand. So, trust and believe, Thailand is all in this, okay? I actually read news, and they were doing this like 2 years ago. We just found out Thailand went with Tranglo, a Ripple partner. Took them 2 years, okay? But it talks about the Bank of Thailand, the Bank of Hong Kong, the Monetary Authority of Singapore. They already approved Ripple's partner Tranglo to use XRP in Singapore. So what we're seeing here is this digital dollar, or the digital Singapore dollar, whatever it is, the digital dollar for that country. Ripple is running this with CBDCs. They're setting up countries. And if it's not Ripple, it's Tranglo who uses Ripple technology. So basically, it's Ripple, all right? Project Lion Rock. Okay, I've never heard of that one. But it was called Project Lion, like Lion, Lion, and then Rock. And then there's a hyphen, and then Inthenon Experiments. That sounds interesting. Inthenon, Inthanon Experiment. So it's Project Lion Rock hyphen Inthenon Experiments. That might be one to look into to do a future deep dive. But what it is, it's a corridor of digital ledger technology. It used smart contracts. So it makes me wonder if this is Codius using smart oracles. Makes me think. You know, they're doing these little experiments. All this stuff's on private ledgers, okay? So that Russian report I was just going over, same thing. They were telling us in the early days they were using private ledgers. That's why we can't see what they're doing, all right? So people ask me or other YouTube people like, hey, what's going to happen with this? I don't know. We don't see the ledger. We don't know how much is moving on the private ledger. We have no idea. Sometimes they tell us, you know, approximately, but they're doing all these things. They've been doing this for a while. You know what? I'm telling you what. When they need to flip the switch, it's ready to go. They've been fucking around since 2016 or earlier on all this stuff. I think they can hook up these countries super fast. All right. And a lot of them are already hooked up. They're just not saying anything, keeping quiet about it. Now I'm moving up to about page 17. So we go from page 11 up to page 17. It's titled Digital Payments Ecosystem. It shows a chart. It gives another title here. Domestic or overseas payment service provides in the United States. So they show this chart. And if you're talking about domestic and overseas payments, in the US, we use Venmo, okay? And in China, they use Alipay and WeChat, okay? I think the reason they're mentioning this is because the governments want to step in and have their own money for overseas payments. You know, governments don't want to people don't want to necessarily use other countries' money. That's where this Venmo stuff and the AliChat or Alipay and all that stuff's coming in. Because people are finding other ways to pay besides using government money. Okay. They mention here fast retail. So when we start hearing retail, we start thinking Stellar, maybe even XDC R3 Quart or something, right? So we got fast retail payment systems, FPS in the United Kingdom, IMPS in India, FedNow in the United States. Oh, FedNow. We've been hearing a lot about FedNow lately, haven't we? Well, you know what? It's under the fast retail payments. In my opinion, FedNow will be running on some kind of Stellar as a token. Now, it might be using XRP as the blockchain, but Stellar might be the vehicle it's driving on the blockchain. Got it? Because when you hear retail payments, that's Stellar, not XRP. But then again, they work together, right? You can have an XRP ledger, which is a highway, and the car will be Stellar. And the XRP ledger converts, so we convert. Let's say that Stellar gets going where it needs to be, but somebody wants it converted. That's where the XRP digital exchange comes in. Next, I put a star by this. Most relevant for wholesale CBDC. Okay, so this section was titled most relevant for wholesale. Now we're thinking XRP kind of thing, right? Number one, crypto assets. Crypto assets designed for meaning inside the banks, or intra-banks, meaning from bank to bank, payments and settlements. So wholesale will be referring to banks, like Citibank sending another Citibank money in large amounts. That'll be wholesale. Or Citibank sending JP Morgan something, or Citibank sending China Bank. All that stuff will be considered wholesale CBDCs, okay? Here's three that the study named, okay? You got the JP Morgan coin. They named two of them, actually. JP Morgan coin, which I think might be called Quorum, I'm not sure. Then you have the XRP. Those are the two that this study named. Next, China's payment system is not the most relevant, but it is mentioned. So in this article, it said most relevant for wholesale CBDC, that JP Morgan coin is in there, and XRP. People have been saying, oh, Russia's doing this and China's doing that. In this report, they mention China's digital yuan, but it's not the most relevant one for wholesale. Got it? Will it have a use case? Absolutely. Will it be used to move the world's money? No, it won't. Okay. my opinion, XRP has a liquidity hub. It's interoperable and is currently being tokenized. Things of the world are currently being tokenized on the XRP ledger. No other ledger, they're doing this globally. The XRP ledger is owned by the World Wide Web Consortium. The same people that run the internet own the XRP ledger. No other crypto, got it? So the XRP ledger and the crypto will have a value of, I'm going to say, all the money. That's how this is going down. It settles in 2 to 5 seconds, XRP does. And it has a decentralized exchange. None of these other cryptos do, except your XLM and the XDC. But, you know, XLM is basically XRP. Same guy made it. See, that's the difference. So someone might say, oh, Russia's going to have this and that. Yeah, but they don't have a digital exchange. Okay? Not going to happen. In the article with the Russian stuff, we'll find out later that they've actually made their own blockchain. And we'll find out the name of it probably tomorrow. But again, and yeah, let's say they do use the XRP ledger also. Guess what? XRP ledger is not going to have terrorist country. I'm not calling any country terrorist. Just hear my point. The XRP ledger, digital exchange, will not be converting terrorist money, okay? So if there's some country that's a terrorist, whatever country that is, and they want to try and buy and sell shit with their money, it's not going to work in the digital exchange, okay? So now I'm changing the subject. If China wants to buy something from Ecuador, Ecuador is going to have to pay in Chinese money. Why? Because China doesn't have, that we know of, a digital exchange. Okay. Heather Hatley, thank you for your donation to the channel. I appreciate that. And then Helio Bob, white flag out, down to the last lap soon. Yeah. We're coming down to the end. Helio. These people they've all done this. Like, I'll tell you what, from what I've been studying I've been studying a lot the past 2 days. The major, I'd say G20, the top 20 countries in the world, I think they're all ready to go. Okay. We're waiting for the rest of the world, like these really, really broke down countries that are busted. Now they can still use Swift. Swift's still an option. But they're going to phase out that over a few years. What they really want is everybody to get on board right away. They don't want the top G20 being all hooked up with XRP, XLM, and XDC, and then nobody else. Okay, it's just not going to work. So they're trying, I think, really, to get 90 countries on board at least before they flip the switch, or maybe like 100 or something like that. Because remember, you got 180 countries in the world. Some of them just ain't going to mess with it. So they're going to be like that. But so I don't know the exact number of countries before they flip the switch are going to be all ready to go with XRP. It looks like there's a lot. I mean, all the big continents and stuff, like the popular ones, they're linked up, you know, but okay, so let me check on this. Go to the back page. So now we're at page 17, 18. We're coming on 18. Stellar and XDC, I am sure, have most of this also. This is why they will be the backbone of the payment cryptos. Okay. So Stellar and XDC appear to be like common people, you know, small business kind of deal things. That's the backbone where it's going to require a lot of work. Hybrid. Oh, now we're on page 18. They start talking about hybrid CbdCs. Okay, this is something we have not really heard before. They call them either hybrid or synthetic. Okay, here's where it starts getting interesting. In 2019, we're talking 3 years ago, the IMF proposed the hybrid or synthetic CBDC. Like, oh, what is that? This was also called a reserve-backed private token. It says here, a hybrid or synthetic CBDC, the central bank allows financial institutions like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, such as electronic money. Oh, well, in 2015, I did a show, I think on June 6th and July 6th of this year. I did a show on the Ripple settlement. In 2015, Ripple got sued by the government. And it was found out that Ripple was a electronic money company and that the XRP was actually currency. It was called that. So this whole SEC lawsuit is a fake. So what this study shows is that the IMF did a research and they determined that some things are going to be hybrid CBDCs, where you allow financial institutions that are not part of the central bank. So B of A, Wells Fargo, Santander, whatever it might be, they can use electric money or payment service providers. And these electronic money companies like Ripple or payment service providers like Ripple, Western Union, whatever it might be, they can then work with the government to create a crypto, okay? That's where the term hybrid comes in, where you have private companies working with the government. So let's kind of get into this some more. Hold on. Patty, thanks for your donation to the channel and regular viewership. Cool. We're learning a lot today. I'm telling you, this is some work. The central bank of the world will allow these two types of money service companies to access, listen to this. So the federal governments know that they're not really in the high-tech business, all right? So they're going to have to, I mean, our government can't figure out anything at all. They have to rely on private fintech to solve the problems, okay? So the central banks of the world are going to allow private banks, we talked about them, they call them money service companies. This is cool, to access the central, like the Federal Reserve of the United States. The Federal Reserve of the United States is going to allow Bank of America and Wells Fargo and stuff like have accounts in there where they can access the central bank's deposit facility to hold reserves to enable stronger safeguards and monitoring and to improve interoperability. Love that Ripple word. So what's going on is this. You're going to have Ripple, let's say, make an XRP. Go figure, right? And let's say give them out to people that want to buy them, okay? In this case, it's going to be wholesale customers, okay? So what would happen is Ripple would make the XRP and then it would put a deposit of some sort of value in the Federal Reserve depositories. Okay, so the same way that Tether, well, not Tether, that's a bad example. The USDC coin Circle, let's say they back all their Circle with real dollars, right? So what Circle would do is then put a deposit of, let's say you got 1 billion Circles, you'd put 1 billion American dollars in the Federal Reserve. Being a private company, this is totally different than it's ever happened before. So you'd have a private company, like a fintech, make a crypto, put the money in the Federal Reserve. That way, see, now you got it backed. So the Federal Reserve is holding it. The owner of Circle can't decide to go on a bender, snort a line of crank or whatever, take the $1 billion and take it to Vegas and blow it on hookers and gambling and everything else, right? So the Federal Reserve now, so here's what our future is holding. I'm telling you, according to this, our Federal Reserve is now going to be open for private fintech companies that want to create what they call like a stable coin. And what Ripple will do is probably put the value in the federal. Well, Ripple's a different story. I think the Federal Reserve will buy Ripple. That's what I really think. But let's just go with the story. So Stellar will create, their XLM. They're going to have to back it. Maybe they put gold in the Federal Reserve and say, hey, here's 300,000 pounds of gold or something like that. So then it gets backed. But whatever it is, they're allowing money service companies to now put deposits in the Federal Reserve to back the stable coin. That's what's going to happen in our future globally. Now, some countries may not want to. What they're saying here is in the toolkit is countries are free to do what they want, but good countries are going to want to back it, okay? That way Stellar just can't keep printing and printing and printing and printing. Like, there's only so much to back it. And then the government's got to know how much Stellar is out there. They're going to do audits of Stellar every month or whatever it says. So it's going to be just like that. Now, in case of bankruptcy or an emergency, the hybrid Cbdc won't be paid back by the central bank. So what they're saying is, like, if things go bad with Stellar or whatever it might be, the Federal Reserve is not responsible for any of their bills. The only thing the Federal Reserve is to hold collateral for the crypto. That's it, okay? So if the bank goes bankrupt, like if B of A goes bankrupt, that crypto, well, no, B of A is because that's a bank. If a money service provider, because this is separate, we're not talking about B of A, we're talking about MoneyGram, ABC, FinTech company, whatever it is. If they go bankrupt, they're not part of the Federal Reserve. They're just borrowing the vault, let's say. Got it? So they're not part of the Federal Reserve system. That's why the Federal Reserve is not paying back any of their bills. The Federal Reserve only acts as a custodian to hold the fintech company's crypto. Got it? They're not business partners with the Federal Reserve. So that was page 5 and 6. This will be the last page for tonight. This will be page 7 and 8. Now I'm on page 18 still. This section is the hybrid synthetic Cbdc. It said would be implemented more rapidly than a Cbdc. The hybrid one would be faster to get working than just a government bank. You know how slow government is, right? So they're saying that the private crypto would be a faster solution. Yeah, like Ripple, it's already being used. Bam, it's done right now. So, of course, if the United States government actually had to start from scratch and make a Cbdc, oh shit, we could be here for like 5 years or something, right? They take forever. Fintech, you can probably get it done in 6 months. So, let's see here. Represents an alternative to regulation. So a hybrid Cbdc represents an alternative to regulation. It allows central banks to focus. So the hybrid crypto allows the central banks to focus on what the central banks are good at, okay? The central banks are not good at reinventing the wheel of crypto. So what this report, this toolmaker kit policy, doesn't want all the central banks in the world to start studying crypto and be like tech savvy. No, they don't want all that. They want the banks to do what they're good at, okay? And then utilize a company like a Ripple to make something for them so they don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's what this hybrid crypto is, okay? Page 18 has a good graph. If you're interested, I go to page 18 and look at the graph there. It shows the difference between a CBDC versus a hybrid CBDC, okay? Now, on the retail end, it shows direct issue of CBDC to the public. So that's one way our government could our government can have its own CBDC and give it directly to us. That means we'd have a bank account with the federal government. That's not something I would actually want, okay? Now, the hybrid system, it would work more like this. The central bank issues a CBDC to an intermediary. So let's say the central bank makes these CBDCs and gives them to Bank of America. And then the bank distributes them to us. Kind of like what we got going right now with money. What we got going on with money is, remember, I worked for the armored truck companies, right? So the federal government would print the money at the mint. I'd have to drive in our truck from Vallejo to San Francisco to the mint, fill the truck up with 30 million bucks. That money smelled good. Like, you could be in that truck and just smell, even though the money's all wrapped in plastic, you can still smell those hundreds of dollar bills through the, I can remember breathing. I can almost remember what it smells like 25 years ago, like smelling a money truck with like $30 million in there. Like, that shit smelled good. So what we did, here's the intermediary. Here's why I'm explaining this, is because, remember, the government's got two ways. One, they could set up everybody with an account, and now our government is my banker. And that's something I want, okay? This other route, you'd have intermediaries. So the mint in San Francisco, we would drive the truck, go pick up the money, take it back to the vault. The next day, the drivers would pick up the money out of the vault and go to B of A and drop it off. And then the customer obviously would go into the bank to get the money. So that's like a broken system. I mean, that's like a system like we got right now. There's a lot of people in the middle instead of just me and the government having a business relationship, like they do in China or something like that. Like, the government owns the banks. Same thing in Russia, right? So in America, it's different. So that's those two options. Now, another option would be the hybrid option. And I think we're still on page 18. Now, the hybrid option is a little different. You'd have a crypto company issuing the digital currency direct, like Ripple would issue it directly to us. And then they would, again, send a portion, they would send a one-to-one copy of value to the central bank. So that's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Digital currency to the public, and then the crypto companies. Now they mention, here's what they mention. Ripple. No, I kind of mentioned this one. Never mind. I'm not going to say which ones. So to back the crypto reserves are given to the central bank to hold. No more self-custody by companies. So again, the other route would be Ripple could make the crypto, give us the crypto, and then give the central bank value, whatever that value they wanted to hold in the central, like the Federal Reserve Bank. It would be like a stable coin. Now with the government, United States government. So here's the control factor, okay? You want to make sure the government has control. So Ripple would be monitored every month. The government would know how much XRP it's passing out. And then for that, the government would have to be given an equal value for that. So at any given, so if Ripple sold 10 billion XRP, you'd have to have 10 billion XRP of value in the United States Federal Reserve. Got it? So that's the ways that this thing could go. You could either have the United States government issue it directly to us. which I don't like that, okay? Because I'd rather have a bank to deal with than our government. That's one way. The second way is have the government give the crypto their CBDC, so made by the government, to Bank of America, who then gives it to me. That's the second one. I really don't like that way either. The third way I like it is when Ripple would make a crypto, I could buy it from them through, let's say, a liquidity hub or something, but then Ripple would then give an equal value of that XRP to the government to hold on to. And they could give the government gold, silver, whatever they wanted to, and then the government would have power still. See, the government could regulate it, know if people are getting ripped off and stuff. So that's kind of what that page was talking about. Ooh, this is tough. All right, thank God it's the last page. This shit's killing me. But this is the future, and they're going to be deciding this. That's why Biden turned in the executive order. All the departments of the government gave Biden the executive order because now they're going to be figuring out all this stuff that we're going over right now. They're going to figure out which one they're going to choose. I think we're still on that same page. CBDC system availability and continuous 24/7 access should be designed to consider people living beyond the reach of the internet and globe. Okay, what they're talking about here is this new CBDC has to be available to everybody on the globe. It can't just be for people who have internet access in rich cities, okay? They're talking about they want refugees, people living in remote settings, all to have an equal playing field to banking, okay? The CBDC design should include all people and ages. It should be, listen to this, interoperable. I think we know what that means, right? With existing payment systems such as debit, credit cards, and etc. Okay? Using a card when not having internet. So that means you don't have to have internet. You can have like your government CBDC card or whatever and slide the card through. So if they have telephone lines or cell coverage, at least, you might not have internet coverage, but if you have cell phone coverage, it might be a slower way of doing something, but at least that physical card you have is kind of like having digital currency. Using a card when not having internet was kind of what they were talking about. Someone's own bank card can interact using a phone line. We also know, don't we, that Ripple invented you can make transactions when you're not online. Didn't Ripple come up with that like 6 months or a year ago? Yes, Crypto Hulk, they did. So this is what they're saying. Just what Ripple did, they invented a way to make offline transactions, okay? That's not in this report that Ripple did it, because this report was, I think, written before Ripple came up with that invention. Now, the next part's kind of a little bit scary, but it's interesting. It's talking about using the physical body as your ID. So let's say you don't have an ID card, driver's license, this and that. Oh, guess what? Big brother and big sister has a way to track you down. This article talks about identification biometrics. So we're talking about voice analysis. This is something I added in here. They first talk about biometrics, fingerprints, and you got like retinal scans, face recognition, right? I'm talking about voice analysis, and they could use 5 different ways to validate you. So you can go, let's say you're in the middle of some deserted area. They have a phone line of some sort of cell coverage, but they don't have internet. They have some kind of a camera, microphone, fingerprint reader. So I could be in the middle of just nowhere, and as long as they got some kind of connection or whatever, then I could make transactions and stuff. The central bank should not develop policies that remove small banknotes until an alternative is available. So what they're saying is this. They're not going to outlaw cash right away. They're going to ease into it. And because people like you and me need the money, the $1 bill, the $5 bill, the 20 and the 50 and stuff like that. That's how poor people live. But eventually, they're going to transition everybody off money. They want this to be a controlled transition, not just, boom, cut people off and do crypto. They don't want that. It says all types of CBDC, and what it does, each country will have their own choice. So now, different countries are going to have choices, all right? Like privacy issues. Some countries, you'll be able to earn interest on your CBDC. Some countries, you'll have negative interest. Some countries will allow you to custody crypto in your own wallet. Other countries will require a government wallet. So these are just the differences. Brent, thanks for the donation. It says, bring it, Hulk. We're almost done. We got like 15 seconds and I'm done reading the article. My brain is almost fried right now. Interoperability. Lastly, we're going to close with this. Interoperability. This is critical. Central banks need to be coordinated. Remember what I said? Hold on, where's my pen? And I've been telling you guys this for 2.5 years. Remember how the director of this orchestra does this? Okay. Remember when I said a country might be ready? We've had this before with Turkey and Bank of Brazil or something. They didn't make an announcement. We're going to have crypto regulations next month. And after they make that announcement, they get a phone call. And they're like, oh, well, we won't be making regulations next month. See, look, everything's got to be coordinated. That's what this thing says right here. International standards is what it says right here. So I've gone over at least 2 or 3 countries that made a statement like, next week we're going to go live, or next month we're going to go live. And then they get the magic phone call that says, no, you're not. So then they come up with another excuse because they already told everybody they were going to go live. And then they come up with an excuse like, we're looking into something else. We're having a little bit of a problem. No, because you got the phone call that says you're not doing a damn thing. So I don't know who the puppet master is. I'm not going to, even if I did know, I'm not going to mention it on my channel because they're going to destroy this channel too. In this report, its toolkit, it talks about support cross-border. I wonder what crypto company does cross-border. Oh, it's clearly Ethereum, absolutely, and Chainlink, absolutely. So they're talking about a crypto, let's just, XRP, XLM, XDC. They have to be cross-border, and they have to be able to exchange currency. They have to be cross-border and a currency exchange at the same time. Well, folks, check it out. There's only 3 of them that can do it that I'm aware of. XRP, XLM, and XDC. Makes you feel good to be in the right place. We also know it as the Ripple Liquidity Hub, okay? And that's in Canada, by the way. So that, everybody, is 2, 4, 8 pages of notes. I got 1 page left. And on the back, I write end. Because, man, this shit is a lot of work. Whoo-wee. That'll be the last part. I'll read off this tomorrow, like that last page. And I'll throw some news and stuff in there too. So, but tomorrow's open show will be strictly the Russian, what we were talking about earlier, how they were looking at transferring money around the world with the payment system. So the Russian report, we're still going to be going over on the open show. On the PM show, I'll look for some news that's pretty substantial. And I'll just read off this page here, which will take me about 10 minutes or so. Then we'll get into the news on the members only. So let me check some comments really quick, and then I'll wrap it up because I had to think way too much on all. I did. Um, Canadians have been lucky. I got mine way back. Let's see. Ethereum is faster than XRP, and somebody laughs. Matt laughs. Let's see. Crypto Cat is like awesome information. I don't know if that's what was in the top chat or what I'm going over. It was kind of hard to follow what was going on in the top chat, like a lot of weird stuff. Helio Bob, love your show. Ready for the future. Thanks to you, Hulk. That's what we were doing. We were breaking it down today so you can see exactly what is going to be happening. We don't know what country is going to choose what path. We know China and Russia, we know what path they're going to take, the one where the government is your bank. But the United States, there's the different options. So we still don't quite know, but at least you know what they're going to maybe choose. Let me scroll through. AJ Smith says, thanks, Hulk. Canada will choose the gay path. There will be interest bearing accounts. I've heard up to 8%. Matt says, nice work. Mick Hamilton says, it starts in Europe. Soon this energy crisis and Russia cutting them off is going to snowball. It's going to get cold in Russia. I mean, in Europe, it's going to start getting cold. And there's only so much energy. And Russia is going to put the squeeze on Europe. And that's going to cause a lot of issues. I'm just telling you. Uddy to Earth says, thanks again, Hulk. Black Swan. That might be some kind of war. Maybe close to coming to war. I don't know. Natural disasters, things like that, possibly. Helio Bob, you will let me know when it's time to go on a vacation. Yes, Helio Bob, I'm not concerned about the country I live in. There's a lot of nice places in the world to go visit on a vacation. Got it? So I'm not scared. I don't care. That shit doesn't concern me. All right. That'll wrap it up. And I will see you all in tomorrow's shows. I'm going to be looking for news tomorrow. And take care.